The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, shortly UNESCO, is a specialized agency of the United Nations. UNESCO exists to bring the creative intelligence of man to life. UNESCO has two global priorities: helping Africa and equality between men and women. Attention is also given to the youth, poor countries, excluded groups, and the weakest sections of society. Right now, 195 countries are part of UNESCO, whose headquarters is in Paris, in France. UNESCO aims to have steady networks between countries. UNESCO wants to achieve this goal by getting good education, protecting cultural heritage, and scientific cooperation. UNESCO works with a medium-term strategy that lasts 6 years. UNESCO has three governing bodies: the General Conference, the Executive Council, and the Board of Directors. The General Conference consists of representatives of the UNESCO member states. It meets every other year and is attended by member states and associate members. Each country has one vote, regardless of the size of its contribution to the budget. The General Conference determines the policies and the main lines of the work of the organization. The 58 members of the Executive Council are elected through a system that exists within the United Nations. The states are subdivided by region. The Executive Council has the task of checking the program and budget of the organization. The Board of Directors takes care of the overall management of UNESCO. It prepares the work of the General Conference and sees to it that its decisions are properly made. UNESCO is mainly funded by contributions from member states, but it also receives extra contributions by some of these countries. The Netherlands are one of the largest contributors. An example of what UNESCO has come up with is the World Heritage List. World Heritages are cultural and natural monuments that are irreplaceable and exceptional. They are important to the world, and that's why they should be kept safe. A few famous heritages are the Pyramids of Giza in Egypt, the Great Wall in China, and the Grand Canyon in the United States. Each country that is member of UNESCO is obliged to establish a national commission for UNESCO. A few institutions are involved with the work of UNESCO in addition to the commission. The Dutch Commission receives its funding from the government, but its members are independent. UNESCO is funded by member states. A member state will lose its right to vote if it doesn't pay its fee before a certain time. The US lost their right to vote. The headquarters of UNESCO said that the United States lost their right to vote because they didn't pay their fee for 2 years. Not paying UNESCO was a form of protest from the US against the admission of Palestine as a UNESCO member. The contribution of the US was about $80 million per year. This is 25% of the UNESCO budget.